Hey guys, it's Bex. Welcome to another video. We are in a kind of weird spot right now, and I'm holding an empty bottle, and that is for a reason. Today we are going to be letting this bottle choose what we read for about a week. I'm not exactly sure how many days it's going to end up being. I've done this before and it was super fun. Basically, it's like where I play spin the bottle kind of, and whatever the bottle lands on is what we read next. So let me go back here. We have 5 books. 3 of them are from my monthly TBR. I was originally going to do like only books from my monthly TBR are eligible for this video to read in this video. However, couple things. Sunrise on the Reaping, if you watched my June TBR video, we chose that. However, I have since decided, because in the video I was contemplating whether or not to read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes first, and I have decided to read that first. So we unfortunately won't be getting to Sunrise on the Reaping this month, so that is not really in the cards. And then the other one I had on my TBR for like physical reads was Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, and I just really don't feel like reading a thriller right now, and I don't want to put myself in a slump by reading something I know I'm not in the mood for. So we switched those 2 books out with 2 other books. One is the continuation of a series, The Wicked King, because 1, 2, 3 of these, and well, this one too I think, are the start of new series. So, you know, I thought to help us out and maybe try to continue a series instead, I added the 2nd book in the series, the Cruel Prince series. I'm so excited. What do I want to read? On one hand, I do kind of want to continue a series versus start a new one. But if I'm honest with myself and when I'm really in the mood to read, I think I might be in the mood to read Lightlark or Fireborn. Those are the ones I may be hoping for, but I would be happy with any. So without further ado, we'll probably be doing this a couple times in this video, but let's just spin the bottle. Should I spin that again? I feel like I should spin that again because obviously we're using this as the pointer. It's literally right in the middle. It's going right here. I don't think that's closer to one book or the other. I think that's like directly in the middle. So I think we have to do it again. Round 2. Oh, that's okay. And what do you know? Lightlark it is. I swear every time I do this, in the other video too, it always picked the book I wanted. So I'm happy with that. Let's start Lightlark by Alex Astor.
It comes and goes in the blink.
How long is this? 409. Okay. Can't stop yawning. I'm so tired. I don't want to take a nap. There it goes again. Do it. Oh no. Time for an update on Lightlark. As you can see, I am quite a ways into this book. and I'm just now updating you guys. So sorry. Mostly it's just because I've been working all week and I've had some decently long days. I work usually 9 to 10 hours a day, and usually when I get home I just don't really feel like putting my camera on my tripod or my phone and sitting down and doing an update. So I just haven't, but now I am. This book is taking me longer to read than I thought or that I would like, unfortunately, and I really have no idea why. Well, I kind of do actually. It's not because I'm not liking this book. I'm actually really liking this book a lot. However, I am reading 2 other books right now on my Kindle, like not for this video, and I've been finding myself reading those sometimes instead because I'm honestly really liking all 3 of the books I'm reading right now, including this one. As I said, I've even tabbed, if you can see that, which I like never tab books, and I was just reading, I think I tabbed that yesterday, and I was just like, ah. And when I was reading yesterday, also something crazy happened that I was like, no way. I was not expecting that. I love one of the characters so much, but I don't want to say who it is because it doesn't specify. I knew this book had romance in it. I'm sorry, what is my bookmark doing? Okay, there we go. It doesn't specify who the like love interest is, but I did know that it had romance, so I just won't say, but I absolutely love him. But besides that and liking the kind of romance, even though it's more so just like tension as of right now, which I love so much. Also, the story is super interesting, and I kind of knew that I would like this book. Like, I was pretty confident, but for some reason it hasn't been on the super forefront of my mind to read. Like, I just haven't wanted to pick it up yet, and I'm really liking it. I don't think I told you guys what it's about except for what the back says, and it is pretty short. But yeah, our main character, I still don't really know how to say her name, but I'm pretty sure it's Isla with the S pronounced. It's spelled Isla, and I think sometimes the S is silent, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced with it because I think she made a comment in the book about her name saying it was pronounced with S. Anyway, Isla, I'm just gonna call her, is the ruler of the Wildling realm, and in this fantasy world there are 6, including hers, realms, and each one has a ruler, and they all come together on the island of Lightlark that only appears 100 days every 100 years to host a game, kind of. I don't know, like, it says it's a game on the back. It's not your typical game, so I wouldn't really go into it thinking like trials. I mean, it is that a little bit competition more than like games, but basically all of the rulers are there to break this curse that all of the realms have on them that are kind of very slowly destroying their realms, and they're the only ones, and this kind of competition is the only way to break the curses. And also, if you win, you get like a lot of power and stuff. And Isla kind of has her own secret, what's the word? I literally can't think of this word I'm trying to think of. It's gonna drive me crazy, but in a not so eloquent way of saying, because I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. She has her own kind of secret reasoning that she wants to win besides the whole breaking your curse deal. Anyway, so she has secrets. She's trying to, you know, keep it from the other rulers, and it's really not that complicated of a premise, but something about it, it's a page turner, even though I am reading it slowly, kind of. I like the characters. I will say that Isla, and I'm trying to remember how old she is. I don't think, like, she's not a teenager. She's an adult, but I think she's like a young adult, and she does things occasionally that are a little bit rash, and she just doesn't think through them, and it bites her in the butt, which, yes, we all do that sometimes, but she's done it a couple times now, and you'd think she would learn after the first time, but no. So that's really my only complaint with her, and I really can't think of any other complaints with it. So yeah, that's my update. A little bit late into this book. I'm on page, by the way, if you're curious, 306, and there's 408 pages, so I'm just gonna keep reading. I have a little over 10 pages left, so let's finish Lightlark.
Only time I feel like I'm still
Wait, what? I thought I had already passed the plot twist. Wait, I have to go back. Oh yeah, okay. I had already forgotten what happened in the last chapter before I started reading again. because that was like 2 hours ago. And I have short-term memory loss apparently.
It's like not forever. Wish I wasn't looking back on you, but I still do. I still do. Deja vu. Deja vu.
That was really good. Okay guys, as you can see, we are going to pick our next book, obviously with our bottle. If I had to choose, I would probably want, honestly, one of these just because I don't want to start another series really. But I also really want to read these, so I would be happy with anything. Again, I think I kind of said that last time. What's it gonna land on? That was a good spin. Okay. Also, I think this is the thickest book, so that's fun. Fireborn by Rosaria Menda. I have some updates for you. Obviously, I finished this book and then I started Fireborn. Hi, Sammy! So first I'm going to talk to you guys about my overall thoughts on Lilac. So guys, I really ended up loving this book as I was kind of when I updated you guys. Still ended up loving it. The ending was even probably brought it up a little bit because it was really good. I didn't see the plot twists mostly coming. I did kind of sort of guess one. I thought in my head, could this happen? And then it did, so I kind of guessed that, but overall the plot twists were really good. The ending was really good. It was pretty action-packed. The middle was maybe a tiny bit, not even dragging, just not a lot was happening, but not very much of it was slow. Most of it was really fast-paced. I kept wanting to flip the pages and keep reading. So I am rating this 4.5 stars. For me, the strong points of this book were the plot was really good, and then just my like overall personal enjoyment of this book, which is really important to me. That is one of the things that I rate my books on, and probably one of the most important things to me is if I'm just having a good time reading it for no particular reason. You know, it's like, it kind of relates to like the 5-star feeling you get in a book. This wasn't 5 stars or anything, but I did rate my personal enjoyment 5 out of 5. The characters were still really good, but I gave those a 4 out of 5. The emotional impact was also a 4 out of 5. Yes, I felt connected to the characters and to just the whole storyline. There's a lot at stake, very high stakes, but it's the first book in a series. I can kind of see that possibly going up for me, the emotional impact. And then the setting too was, honestly, it was really cool. I don't know why I gave that only a 4 out of 5, but overall I think that checks out because I do think that this was like a 4.5 star book for me, even if I were to just rate it like without thinking about those specific things. So that checks out. I'm feeling kind of torn on the direction that I want the romance to go. I don't want to say too much about that because I don't really know if it's a spoiler because it doesn't say anything about it in the blurb. So we'll see. Hopefully I will kind of decide in the next book. One thing is I was kind of surprised to see that this is a young adult book. It doesn't scream young adult to me. It also, I guess, doesn't scream adults to me. It really could go either way, but for some reason, maybe I just had it in my head that I thought it was adult, but it is young adult, and I do think that that's fair with kind of what you get in this book. There isn't any super gruesome things happening. The romance in it is pretty clean. So yeah, overall just really happy that I read this and definitely going to be continuing the series. The problem with starting so many series, because this is starting a new series, this is starting a new series, and I've just been starting new series lately, is that I don't own like any of the rest of the books. So in order to read them, I have to buy them or try to get them at my library. But then if I know I really like the books and I'm confident that I'm going to continue liking them, I would kind of want to buy them because I already have the first one. So I would just like to have the whole kind of set. So that's a bummer. My husband was just asking me the other day if I wanted to do my birthday Barnes & Noble timed book challenge thingy that I did last year for my birthday, and I told him maybe not this year because I have quite a few books on my physical TBR already that I want to get through. However, I think I actually might tell him yes, but try to go easy and only get the continuations of the series that I'm in the middle of that I know I want to continue, because I can think of at least like 4 off the top of my head right now. Anyway, I'm rambling. That's my thoughts on this book. 4.5 stars. Really happy about that. And then this book, Fireborn by Rosaria Munda, I'm really liking too. I can't remember how many like ratings this has on Goodreads, but I feel like it doesn't have an overwhelming amount, and I'm kind of surprised because this is definitely giving, it kind of reminds me of a mixture of a couple other books, one being Fourth Wing, but not only because it has dragons, and so does Fourth Wing. Also, something interesting that I noticed is that the kind of, I know I haven't even said what this book is about, I will, but one of the groups of dragon riders in this book is called the Fourth Order. Kind of weird. Also, this book came out first. BTW, like 4 years before. Not saying anyone copied from anyone. Also, the dragon riders and dragons in this book too can kind of, they're like linked. They can feel each other's emotions. They're definitely not just like talking to each other all the time. I honestly don't know at this point if the dragons can even talk like in their mind to the riders. It hasn't shown it. If they can just feel their emotions sometimes, but you can also stop it. Also, this is a completed trilogy. It is a YA fantasy with subplot of romance, I think, from what I'm getting so far, and it seems very slow burn. It's kind of enemies to lovers. In the past they were enemies. So our two main characters, and we get both POVs, it's dual POV between Annie and Lee. Annie is 16 years old and Lee is 17 years old. They're both orphans. Lee comes from a very high up family of dragon riders. When he was a kid, only certain like bloodlines and families could ride dragons, and his was one of them. But this kind of revolution happened where his family was killed, and now everyone has a chance to be a dragon rider. And that is where Annie comes in, because she is trying to climb the ranks to get into the Fourth Order, as is Lee. She is already a dragon rider, both of them are, when you start this story, which is kind of interesting. You kind of start in the middle of the story and you learn the background and history with flashbacks, which I'm really enjoying. But Annie is orphaned because her parents were actually killed years ago by dragon riders. So that kind of is that enemies kind of situation. Although Annie and Lee have known each other for years, they went to the same orphanage, and so they've kind of grown to be very close. But it's still kind of a sore spot in their friendship that could become more. So yeah, you're basically just following Annie and Lee try to move up the ranks to be kind of the main dragon riders of this society. And in that, you kind of have also that rivals. Yeah, I would almost maybe say it's more rivals to lovers, but they're also friends, versus enemies to lovers, because they're not enemies. And there's also kind of a impending war that is probably going to happen when people from the old regime, aka kind of Lee's old crowd of people that think only certain bloodlines can be dragon riders. So Lee's in a bit of a conundrum because it's kind of like his new found family. There's found family versus kind of his old family people. Yeah, I'm really liking it so far. There's politics, there's subtle kind of whispers of romance, brushes of fingers, stuff like that, which I love. I have also heard that the series just continues to get better as you read on with the second and third book. So having a great time so far. Oh, by the way, I'm on page, I always forget to say this until like the end. Obviously you can see how far I am, but I'm on page 208. The only complaint I have right now, which is fine, and I'm not noticing it horribly, much is that the chapters are really long, like 30 pages mostly. There's been maybe 2 so far that have been like 15, 10 pages, but for example, right now I'm in the middle of chapter, still going, 8. Halfway through chapter 8 and I'm on page 208. So normally I'd be on chapter like 220 because I feel like the average length of a chapter of a book is like 10 to 15 maybe pages. So, however, it does switch POVs mid-chapter, like multiple times sometimes. So it's almost like mini chapters inside of the long chapter. So that's helping too, but easy to understand. You kind of, like I said, jump right in. And because of the flashbacks, you don't have a big portion of kind of the beginning of the book where it's just info dumpy, which I enjoy and appreciate. So that's my update. I'm just going to keep on reading this book and I'm really enjoying it so far. Ends of the earth, I will protect you. Sammy, I can't see. You're so silly. Yep. You guys, I just finished this book and I loved it. Pretty much from the beginning, I thought, okay, this book is probably going to be like a 4.5 star at least. But I literally just finished it and immediately I thought to myself, this is 5 stars. I cried and I just feel so deeply for these characters and what they have gone through in their lives, and it's just horrible. I'm pretty sure I told you guys, but Annie's family was killed by Dragonfire, aka Lee's family, and Lee's family was killed for reasons it's kind of hard to explain quickly, but they were both young orphans and so sad. And the found family in this book, between specifically Annie and Lee, but also their friend group, was so good. One point that I wanted to remember to say, so I made a note of it in my phone, that I was absolutely loving in this book. I think the fact that the dragon riders and the dragons can't like explicitly communicate with each other. They don't talk to each other. They can't read each other's minds. And again, I'm not trying to compare to other books, but if you've read Fourth Wing, you know that that is exactly what it's like in Fourth Wing between the dragon riders and the dragons, and that does have its perks. And I don't really know exactly why I feel this way, but I for some reason feel like I liked how it was kind of portrayed, their relationship, better in this book. And yes, the dragons are a big part of this story, but it's just a piece of the puzzle. You know what else this book reminds me of? Sorry, I'm like just randomly thought of this and thought I would tell you. Is House of Dragon. You know, the HBO show based on kind of a Game of Thrones, the spin-off or whatever. Anyway, I just loved it. The plot was really interesting. I honestly was never bored, even though a good chunk of the book isn't like action. Really, barely any of it was like that. I do think that that is going to pick up more in the remaining 2 books, but I didn't mind. Like, I was still so enthralled, so engrossed in the story. The characters, I love them so much. I feel like she really gives depth
Rosaria Munda to all of the characters, even kind of the villains, at least maybe some of them, not all of them. I don't like them at all. Like, sometimes they do awful things and I just want to punch them in the face, or I want the characters in this book to punch them in the face. I literally thought that at one point. But they have a lot of depth to them to where you can't just flat out hate them. And I just already, after one book, feel like I know these characters so well. My emotional attachment to this book was very high. I cried, as I said, and I just absolutely had an amazing time reading this, and I'm honestly so tempted to buy the next book, even though I'm really trying not to buy books right now. And also, my birthday is in just over a month, and I think I'm going to get a lot of books for my birthday, and I really want to focus on getting books in series that I'm in the middle of and I haven't finished because I don't know the next book. So this would be one of them, but I just don't know if I can wait that long. Also, the writing is so good. Like, there was this really long paragraph near the end. It's kind of a spoiler, so I can't read it, I don't think. It was so good. And just throughout the book too, I thought that. And yes, it is young adult, but the writing didn't feel YA. The politics, the world building, it just all seemed very fleshed out. And also, this was Rosaria Munda's debut novel, and I'm just like flabbergasted. And sorry, I just thought of something else to say. I also feel like this story does a really good job kind of getting the readers to think about morals and right and wrongs and what you would do in the situation of these characters, because it is really hard what they're kind of going through and trying to learn how to forgive and move on from past wrongs that were done to them or their families. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop talking now. That is the end of this video. I know I only read 2 books in this video, but that's okay, and it took me way longer to read, specifically Lightlark, than I thought it would. But I really liked both of the books, so I'm really glad I finally got to them, even though I did start 2 new series, as I've said a million times, but it's fine. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!